Greetings and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you are doing well. I am guided by Spirit. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. Disclaimer: all cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. So what a week it has been. Starting with the last week opening ceremony at the Paris Olympics, and then unfortunately, as we know the story today, that on Monday morning a dance class was attacked, and as it stands, 3 children have passed from this event, and there were 8 other children that have been injured. At the time of this recording, which is August the 2nd, 12:20, just past noon, 2 of the children, as far as I know at this point, were discharged, and there are still 2 adults that are also in hospital. And of course, there's been a lot flying around, a lot of shit flying around. So, to get us into the theme of this episode, and I will just say up front, there are dark forces around and dark energies around, and I'm going to be touching on this in this episode. Now, to get the ball rolling, and this is why I believe, having gone through the chart for several days, and of course been completely alarmed on Monday morning's incident, I thought let's look at this properly. So to kickstart the episode, I'm going to play you an audio piece from Westworld, Season 1, Episode 2, and I'm going to play you an audio piece from Season 1, Episode 7. And pay attention to the words witchcraft, sacrifices, etc. Now, as mentioned, this is going to be quite a heavy episode, so please protect yourselves in your light, and may light be among us so that the darkness does not blind us. Here we go. So this is the first piece from Westworld.
You can't play God without being acquainted with the devil. The problem, Bernard, is that what you and I do is so complicated. We practice witchcraft. We speak the right words, and we create life itself out of chaos. Sadly, in order to restore things, the situation demands a blood sacrifice.
Now, it's very interesting that the Illuminati and their satanic messaging prevails our tablets, our phones, our TVs, and of course this is becoming and has become common knowledge that the Satanists are among us, of course, and of course spreading their messages through media, for example. Now, as an exercise, if you're not aware of the series, and I watched this for the first time literally like this week. At the time I didn't have access when it first came out, but I knew I wanted to watch it for some reason, right? And in the right time. So as an interesting exercise, and if you aren't aware of the series, Westworld, and I've only watched season 1, okay, is about creating a theme park with robotic humans. Okay? But of course, we can go a little bit deeper than that as a metaphor to what these puppet masters are up to, right? But regardless, they make them look human. They are human, or they are perceived as human, but of course are not human. And this is the scenario that we had with the Kate Middleton exercise. And we're going to go back there. This episode is going to be dealing with, of course, the horrific incident, the messaging behind this whole event, and then we're going to look at patterns with regards to Kate and Anne. It's all related. Now, as an exercise, so the broadcast date, the very first broadcast date, if we want to tap into the energy and timeline, okay, was October the 2nd, 2016. Okay. Now, on the surface, everything would be perceived as, let's say, normalish. But when we create a 72-hour window, this will help you understand what we're going to deal with the incident. It's taken me a while to put it all together. So if we look at the 72-hour zone when this series was started to be broadcast, we see interesting numbers like 22-4. They love their power numbers, 11-2, 11-2, lots of 11-2s. And of course, every date and time is chosen specifically from these puppet masters, right? Now, if we had to extend September underneath October, in other words, what is hidden from us, right? And it also continues the energy flow coming out of September 30. So if I line up the 3 days as an energy source, because they love their energy as well, of course they deal with dark energy. So if I line up the hidden energy underneath, if you like, we pick up the number 33-6. And it's the 33-6 that will indicate satanic rituals. The number 33-6. Now, of course, there's other meanings around it, but if we're looking now at a spiritual warfare situation, because what is these Satanists telling us and doing in front of our eyes, like we saw at the Olympics, and we'll get there. But what's interesting is what's actually going on behind the scenes as well. So you'll recall in the Catherine show, at the trooping of the colors, we see the 15-6. Talks about the abomination. So the series is, if you want to get really, I don't know what you want to call it, biblical on it, the abomination creations that they made to look like human, respond like humans, even looks like Kate if you make it 12 times, for example, right? So trooping of the colors, let's see if I've still got that chart here. I do believe I do. Trooping of the colors was just the day before. But you'll recall the 15-6 that we had. So as well in the series, the number 15-6, which is the abomination. Now 42-6. Now this is what's hidden, right? Feels to me there's a lot of bodies going wrong here in real. Okay. The other numbers we want to look at here in the hidden is the 40, the one that really gets me going, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's these pricks here, right? So we got the 40 fathers, the heads of state, the heads, if you like. So these are key numbers you'd want to look at. I mean, look at this 50 here. Now, in a crime scene, or in the crime world rather, 50 speaks about organized crime. Okay? But on the other hand, as like, let's say, as a human number, if you want to call them humans, another word is debauchery. These are like these big debauched sex parties. I haven't seen all of Babylon, saw first 10 minutes, I couldn't get past it for whatever reason. Babylon. 50 is like group orgies, group sex, you name it. Another power number, 22-4, also in the open, because that's who they are, in the open as well as hidden. And this is why I mentioned, and we're going to go there today in this episode, long episode, more than welcome to watch in a few bites, but the death week of Catherine, as mentioned before, if you see all these numbers in brackets, there's a whole hidden world going on with these motherfuckers. There's significance about Taylor Swift's message. So key numbers to look out for. This 51-6, you know, the reason why it's ghastly in the first place, 6 is the human. 6 is the human being. So what are they doing to these human beings? 51 is a very destructive, horrible number for a human body. Particularly in the environment of 33-6, sacrificial, what they do to the body. So it just so happens this week, and since Friday last week, when all this bullshit started flying around, that I came across Westworld and always wanted to watch it. And the questions I was asking about the Olympics and the children was revealed to me in episode 2 and episode 7. So I thought, let's look at the numbers, and there we go. October the 2nd, 2016 is a point in the energy, and it's when it first came to light. So the blue block above is what you saw on TV. But what was not shown to us and hidden was what we see underneath. Okay? And that was the case in the Allison and the Penny case. It was all hidden. Now, the intention is not to create havoc, but to point out some interesting outlines, and I have been working on it. Of course, this is a very serious situation, and because it involves children. Okay. According to media, this is the perpetrator walking along the road. And when I watched this on ITV News, I'll put the link in the description for this. For me, the energy, just while we're here, the energy of this person, which is still this person, is different to this one. In my opinion. So, as ghastly as this event was and is, I would like us to please, let's start July 25. We're going to go back a few days because I believe it's all related. July 25, 2024, we see a 7+7 issue. There's an issue here. Okay. We note, I'm going to just point out numbers first. I'm going to note the 14-5. 32-5 is destruction as well. Is a destruction number, so that's hidden. We have the presence of the 40. 22-4, the master plan. 13-4 can speak about death, new beginnings, or children. Now I'm going to pause there for a minute. If you go to the French date of birth, we'll note they have a 13-4, 31-4 in their day in the middle. Observation. Because one of the questions I was asking, why was the incident involving children? And of course, the Olympics are taking place in Paris. There's a 13-4 in their profile. There's also a 55 there. Remember that 55? Now, for me personally, I did watch some of the opening. And of course, I picked up on the hoorah around the parody on the Last Supper, right? Now, as much as that is important, and it is, and everyone has their right of opinion, if you look on the day of the event, so we're just going to go into the day now. Okay. What do we see hidden? Hidden 33-6. So, of course, on the surface, now remember, the surface is what you see on TV. What do we see? The 15-6 abomination. The abomination. Hidden is the 33-6. So what is this 33-6 all about? It's the sacrifice. It's a satanic ritual event. So I'm just also dealing with that issue because on a personal level, because obviously growing up as a kid, and I'm just putting it out there, is I used to be an athlete in school, and the dream was always, oh, we've got to make the Olympics. I mean, I was never fantastic, but you know, when you're growing up, you think anything, right? But I always wanted to go to the Olympics. Now, unfortunately, it may have begun in earnest. Well, I suppose we should look at when it was actually founded. But present is this hidden sacrifice. Ritualistic in nature, 15.6. Ritualistic in nature. We have these out of sync 8s, too many 8s. And we see this horrible number, 41.5. Bad for the human body. And 14.5, right? Now, what I find particularly interesting next, so with that information, I'm going to draw your attention to France has the outcome 14.5, 23.5. So this will ping on them directly as well. Of course, it's taking place in France. And I almost feel like I want to say, France gets to choose what that sacrifice is, right? So the alleged 17-year-old is named Axel Ruder Cubano. And his name, the first 3 letters of each name equals 10-1, interestingly enough. If you've been watching the 10-1 shows, you'll know 10-1, organization, puppet. Now, here's a very interesting thing. The date of birth given for Axel is August the 7th, the 8th, 2006, which gives us the 8 there, right? I need to compare this. The 8 and the 7 gives him the 15.6 in the day, with the outcome 23.5, 14.5, right? Now, if you look at the day of the opening ceremony, the numbers match exactly the same. You got 3, 8, 7, 15, 6, 3, 8, 7, 15, 6, 23, 5, 14, 5, 5. You can't have created a better perfect date of birth for the murderer. And by the way, I'm smelling bullshit. But we'll leave the conspiracy theories out of it. So interesting that the exact date of birth matches the day of the opening ceremony. Okay. Now, we're collecting circumstantial evidence, right? Because I could be going off my rocker, right? So now, let's take it on the real. So that's Friday, July 26. Then Monday comes around, where we start the day with a 7, 29, 11 to 8. So already what's telling me here on this day, whatever law is about to be broken has already been broken. Does that make sense? Give me 1 second. Gosh, man. So to start a day with 29, 11, 2 for me already spells problem. So let's just say, let's take it on the real. Not the reals, beg your pardon. Let's take it on the narrative. The narrative is Axel is on the way, is going to wake up on this morning, And he's going to get to Southport and create this murder that we can see here, murder 18-9. But hidden is a 36-9. Now, if you want to go on the satanic level, these motherfuckers, 369 satanic. Right, so we got the 18-9. Now, let's just say Axel wakes up. And he's in two minds about this thing because 29-11-2 can bring around uncertainty. But the problem I'm having is the 29-11-2 doesn't speak about one person. First of all. And when you look at the next day, and you see this hidden 37-10-1, we start to put a picture together of unlawful 11-2, unlawful, but there's cooperation. There's more than one people involved here. So it would make, so let me explain it this way. If there were two perpetrators arrested on that day, known as Axel and plus one, whoever that person is, then I'd say, okay, there's it. There's the two guys. They're walking in onto the scene. That's the issue I'm having. So there's definitely something's gone down here, and the intention is this, right? The outcome of the Monday, and I know this is very sensitive, I don't take this lightly. I tried to record this possibly even 24 hours before this, but it wasn't ready. 44-8 by design. So let's just say, let me rather say this, they love perverting power numbers, using power numbers. Okay? Perverting. That's what Satanists do, is pervert the truth, right? They pervert the sanctity of whatever they dip their hands into, right? Like, for example, Taylor Swift. The horror of yesterday's attack in Southport is washing over me continuously. Do you know how satanic that is? With their blood baths and blood sacrifices washing over me. Wow. Wow, eh? Wow. Now why did they choose Taylor Swift? Remember, Taylor Swift was around in the zone June 21. June 21, Taylor Swift is in town, and it happens also to be Prince Bloodbath's birthday, right? Now I want to draw to your attention, because this is also significant. 9. This is now, we're talking universal numbers. And if you watched my alien episodes, I developed a theory. I had an alien abduction experience. And that is why I did the alien episodes that I did on my channel. And when I did I may have done, I don't know, don't quote me on the number, but approximately 10 to 12 events within 2 episodes, right? But when I was looking at the numbers, I found and discovered a pattern like this. The 9, whenever you have a 9 in the middle, and I'm going to show you more examples, because this is, I'm not making this up. This is purely based on patterns, right? So when Taylor Swift has her concert, now she had concerts day before, day after, etc., right? She was on a tour, right? But on the day she goes to meet Prince Harry, so on the day of Prince William's birthday, we have this sequence, all by design. Remember this. 18-9, stack of eights. The day before, we see, as we heard in that audio clip, chaos, right? Chaos. This is that chaos I'm talking about, these eights. We see a 33 hidden 6. Coincidence or not, when this event took place, what happened the following event? Anne all of a sudden goes into hospital. There's that hidden 36-9, satanic ritual number, if you take it on that level. (36-9). We have the 9 and the stack of 8s lined up here. It's all perfect timing. And it's done in accordance. Now, if you want to go this level of numerology, which I've only touched on the surface, having done those previous episodes, but the dark arts people will know exactly what to do and when. But it's happening in similar pattern sequences. This is still an overview. We'll go deeper. So on this day, July 29 becomes the reflection day of the Olympic Day. 72 hours afterwards gives us a summary of events. So when on July the 28th we see the chaos, they love that, the Satanist mothers. Now 3 days later, 29-11-2, 36-9, 18-9, 44-8. What we saw that day was all by design. It was staged, 26-8, staged. They did it for a reason, and the reason is to say, fuck you, and fuck you, and fuck you. So they love it. But the more important thing is what is happening behind the scenes. 33-6 ritualistic. Sacrifice of innocence. So now, if we go into the reflection day and zone of the event on Monday, July 29, there's 33-6 there. Now in the open. Do you see? On Friday, it was hidden, as the agenda goes. The end result of Monday's event as we know it today was a sacrifice. 33-6 of, let's go in, of children. 13-4 is the number for children. 13-4. Hidden 40 outcome for motherfuckers. Now, what's just hit me, there's always seems to be, and I mentioned this in the previous Kate and Anne Westworld videos, that the women are being taken out. There's a constant theme of women being taken out around here. Because in the reflection zone, the most impact is on women. Feminine energy. All right, this will conclude part 1. Thank you for watching. I'm just going to take a break before I continue recording part 2.